Hello. We are going live. kathysright.com. Hello. This has been an interesting day. It's been an interesting week. It's been an interesting 3 years. I'm bringing you simply my hope and my prayer and my encouragement that people open up their eyes, their hearts, and their minds to right thinking. And by that I mean individual thinking. I challenge every person to think as an individual. I'm a Black Catholic woman, Republican. I used to just say conservative because I am conservative, but I always wanted to leave my options open. But I am a conservative by choice. I don't think that because you are born of a certain color that you owe your allegiance to any particular group. But many would have you believe just that. But that's not the way it's going to happen in this world anymore. I was born in Houston, Texas, raised and born there, and I love Texas. I moved from Texas, lived in Connecticut for a while, then moved to California, lived there for 26 years. And then when my husband retired, he followed me here to Texas. So here we are, back home, where I belong. I agree with Trump. There should be a trial. I'm glad there's going to be an impeachment, actually, because before I thought when they said they were going to impeach him 3 years ago on the day of his election, it's kind of hard to miss that they've been saying it for 3 years, and then all of a sudden, when they actually are doing it in the House, it's hard to believe that it's not partisan, because that's what they're telling you. They're going to tell you, this is not partisan, this is about justice. Well, I say bullshit on that. If it was about justice, Joe Biden would be on trial right now. I mean, he actually is on camera admitting to quid pro quo. So here we are in a very partisan situation. And as usual, the Democrats are telling us, you are not seeing what you're actually looking at. No, don't trust your eyes and your own ears, because we're telling you this is not partisan. This is about justice. This is about patriotism. Well, I'd like to say to the Democrats, stop peeing on my leg and telling me that it's raining. It's been raining for a long time. There are too many people who haven't answered to anyone. Adam Schiff is the tip of the iceberg on this. They have not had to answer to the American people. Obama spied on Trump when he was a candidate using the FBI. That is a fact. They even talked about it. But when they talk about it, they don't even think it's a crime. Well, it was a crime when Nixon did the exact same thing. People thought that Trump was crazy when he said that this happened, and then it was proven. Did anyone go to jail? No. Joe Biden, who is as corrupt of a politician as there ever was one, probably more so now that he's running for office for president, after being a bona fide political gangster in the Ukraine. The video's well known, Joe. There's no hiding. But it seems that the Democrats don't have any shame about it. They never have. You don't even have to watch the video twice to see that money was withheld from Ukraine unless and until the prosecutor investigating Burisma, the oil company, where Joe's son happened to be on the board, not speaking the language or knowing anything about that industry. He knew that if the prosecutor of Ukraine investigated Burisma, corruption would be found, no doubt, everybody knew. And smack dab in the middle of that, which was the actual fruit of Joe's loom, the fruit of the loom. Joe bragged that he gave them 6 hours to fire the prosecutor or no $1 billion. He bragged about it on camera. Yet we are sitting here acting as though Donald Trump, our president, is a criminal. He is not. When Joe announced his run for the office of the presidency of the United States of America, his son, at that time, decided to resign from the board. Why? Was it a bad look for Hunter Biden? Or a bad look for Joe? They didn't want anything to seem improper. It was a bad look for America, but they didn't care. And it stunk to high heaven. The Democratic Party, they're making out like bandits all over the world, placing their heirs, their heir apparents, their children on the boards of companies. Lucrative positions. Hunter Biden, it's been said that at first they said it was $50,000 he was being paid per month from Burisma, but others have said it was $150,000 per month that he was paid to be on the board of an oil company in the Ukraine. I find that odd because it seems Nancy has a son too who's also on a board of an oil company in Ukraine. Fishy, isn't it? But no, we're to overlook that. We're going to concentrate on hearsay speculation coming up with a crime. They've been in search for a crime for Donald Trump for 3 years. Hunter Biden. I bet there are a lot of moms out there who wish they had given their children a different name today. Hunter was a popular name and still is for mothers to name their babies. But this week is special. I'm going to quote Betty Davis in the 1950 classic movie, All About Eve. I love that movie. She said she was playing the role of Margot Channing in All About Eve. And in that movie, she said, "Fasten your seatbelts. It's going to be a bumpy night." In another week of developing stories, we see that the Democrats have moved the goalpost again in an overly zealous effort to unelect President Donald Trump. Schiff actually shafted the American people with his crimes. He lied on camera before Congress and all of us and tried to quote Donald Trump in a phone call. It was only after the fact that he gave this bogus performance that he said, "Oh, that was just parody." No, Schiff, that was lying. One thing that I've learned since the beginning of this fiasco called the Democratic Party is I've learned that they have a whole bunch of new words for lying. I didn't realize that you could say, "Well, that's inaccurate." That's one of their favorites. Well, that's you're being less than honest. That's not accurate. That's another way of saying you're a liar. You're a liar, son of a you know what. President Donald J. Trump, listening to the lefty congressmen and women gush all over former ambassador to Ukraine, Marie Yovanovitch, was syrupy. It almost made my teeth hurt. Over and over, congressmen and women, one after the other, they would say, your dedication and your service, I surely appreciate it, Miss Marie Yovanovitch, blah, 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 your dedication and your service. So basically the first week of the impeachment inquiries were complimenting their so-called witnesses who actually witnessed nothing. It was he said, she said, and I speculated from what she said about what he said. That's what they had. Nothing. Blah, blah, blah. The redundancy was really icky to watch. Are we all here because she got her feelings hurt when she was fired? Or, I'm sorry, ousted. Ousted is the word we're using. We don't say fired. Political correctness is really kicking my behind. I can't do it. People get fired every day of the week. And she got a better job as a result at Georgetown. Marie Yovanovitch isn't a victim. She pretty much showed her hand in cards when she didn't put the picture of our new president in the embassy. That's traditional. It's been traditional all over the world for embassies. But why would she not? Because she had disdain, personal disdain for our beloved president. So the Democrats and the ABC News and CNN and NBC and MSNBC and all of them, they expect us to believe what they tell us to believe and to ignore what we actually see and hear. So when Joe Biden made that confession on camera, we're supposed to say that really wasn't quid pro quo. And then when they polled people, who believes in polls anyway, but then they polled people, they found that people were more acceptable of the word bribery. So they switched it from quid pro quo to bribery. And today they switched it again. They're impeaching him for abuse of power and obstruction of Congress. What the hell is that? They're insulting what's left of my intelligence at this point. I keep seeing them do and say one thing, but when they talk about what they do and they've said or confessed, they said that didn't really happen. That what you saw isn't. That's why I call it smoke and mirrors. It's like a magician, trick of the eye. He's doing this with this hand and this with the other hand, knowing that you're looking over here, but you're ignoring what's over there. And they're expecting us to do that daily. So when Trump was elected, I was so excited. I still am. Because he was going to drain the swamp. Little did he nor I know that it's more of a sewer. It's a sewer. And it's full of sewer rats, otherwise known as Democrats. Since day one, they have harassed Trump and his family, watching their every move. There were 12 people on the phone call with Trump and Zelensky, where there was actually no quid pro